April 3rd. 5:43 a.m. The 911 call came from a man named Craig Holloway, 52, a retired mailman and regular morning jogger. His voice on the call was clipped, shaky.
I think it's a body. A woman. Carter Lake. Near the East Pier.
By the time first responders arrived, the mist was still heavy, hanging low over the murky water. Birds hadn't begun their usual chorus yet. Everything felt unnaturally still, as if the lake itself knew something was wrong. Nancy's body was face down in the reeds, one pale hand twisted behind her back, the other draped in algae and mud. She was wearing a navy windbreaker, soaked through, and black leggings with a faint tear on the thigh. Her phone was missing. Her keys still in her jacket pocket. No wallet. No ID. But the roommate's missing persons report and dental records would later confirm it. The scene was immediately cordoned off, but before the area could be cleared, an officer, young, new to the force, vomited behind a cruiser. Not because of blood or gore, but because Nancy's eyes were open, staring at nothing. Detective Elise Moreno arrived just after sunrise. She knelt by the body, avoiding eye contact with the press that had started to gather beyond the yellow tape.
"This wasn't random,"
she murmured to herself. Later that morning, the medical examiner's van pulled away. Onlookers whispered.
"I've lived here 20 years,"
said one woman in a bathrobe, smoking despite the no smoking signs.
"Carter Lake seen overdoses, sure, but never a murder. Not like this."
Behind her, a child, maybe 10, clutched a scooter and stared at the ground, where a dark outline remained in the grass. A silence lingered there, the kind that creeps under your skin. At the station, Moreno watched the bodycam footage. An officer panned across the scene, pausing on Nancy's hand. Something glittered. Not a ring. A fingernail. Pale pink, chipped at the edges, a tiny silver charm embedded. A crescent moon.
"Zoom in,"
Moreno said. The apartment was pristine. Detective Elise Moreno stepped inside wearing latex gloves. The living room was silent, air faintly scented with lavender and lemonwood polish. A throw blanket was neatly folded on the couch. Mugs stacked evenly in the drying rack. Books on the shelf arranged alphabetically. Everything in its place. Too much in its place. Her roommate, Alana Rhodes, stood by the door twisting a ring around her finger.
Nancy wasn't just organized. She was obsessed with control. She had calendars for everything. Meal prep, cleaning days, what time she'd take her vitamins. I laughed at her for it. Now I'm wondering if she had a reason.
Moreno nodded silently and moved to Nancy's desk. There, the first crack in the facade, a locked drawer. Moreno gently pried it open with a thin metal tool. Inside was a small USB drive, a roll of breath mints, and a torn sticky note with a partial phrase. "If anything happens to me." No continuation. Just that line. As if Nancy had been interrupted. At Fulton and Glass, the office lights buzzed overhead. Sterile, unflattering, humming like anxious bees. Co-workers gave stiff statements, all echoing the same script.
She was quiet, hardworking, kept to herself.
All except one. Maya Trent sat hunched at the breakroom table, stirring coffee she wasn't drinking.
Nancy was scared. She told me a month ago that she thought someone was watching her. Thought it was paranoia at first. But then she showed me an email she wasn't supposed to have seen.
She scrolled on her phone, fingers trembling, then passed it to Moreno. A screenshot of an internal message thread. It mentioned non-disclosure protection, unauthorized audit, and one chilling sentence. "Scrub her involvement if it comes up."
"Scrub her?"
Moreno asked.
She thought it meant kill her.
Maya whispered.
I told her she was overreacting. God help me, I thought she was being dramatic.
The night before Nancy disappeared, surveillance from her apartment hallway caught her leaving in jeans, no makeup, holding only her phone and keys. Time-stamped 8:12 p.m. She looked over her shoulder 3 times before getting into the elevator. She didn't take her bag. She didn't lock the deadbolt. A burner phone was later discovered hidden in a tampon box under her sink. She wasn't just scared. She was preparing to vanish. Back at the precinct, a forensic tech handed Moreno a report.
We recovered a partially deleted folder from her work laptop, encrypted, but it's full of scanned documents and memo PDFs. One name keeps popping up, Glassdown Holdings.
Shell company?
Looks like it.
He hesitated.
There's more. She had a draft email open in Notepad. Never sent. Addressed to a local journalist.
He passed the printout. The message began.
I have evidence of fraud, displacement, and active suppression within Fulton and Glass. If you're reading this, it means I'm already at risk.
Moreno's jaw tightened. Nancy wasn't just a victim. She was a threat. To someone powerful. And threats get silenced. The footage was grainy, but unmistakable. 8:47 p.m., April 1st. A corner camera above a liquor store caught Nancy crossing 6th and Whitmore, tote bag in hand, expression tense. She looked behind her briefly before the frame shifted. Then 6 seconds later he appeared. Tall, maybe 6 feet 2 inches. Slim build. Moving with slow, deliberate steps. Tan trench coat, pulled tight at the collar despite the mild spring evening. Ball cap angled low. His face remained just out of sight in every frame, as though he knew exactly where the cameras were. As though this wasn't his first time. Detective Moreno froze the frame. Enhanced the lighting. Still no face. Just a shadow. They called him the Tan Coat Man. In the days following the footage leak, the media latched on to the image like wildfire. Nancy's story was now public. Her life dissected on news cycles, her photos plastered across screens. The city had a suspect but no name. Tips flooded in. None solid. But Moreno had something else. A second camera. Not from the city. From a doorbell across from Carter Lake. 2:14 a.m. April 2nd. A silhouette dragging something heavy. The angle was off, but you could hear the faint rustle of fabric, the uneven footsteps, the grunt of effort. Freeze frame. The trench coat again. Inside the precinct situation room, Moreno pinned images to the whiteboard. A Nancy's final walk. The trench-coated figure. The lake. Glasstown Holdings. Fulton and Glass. Connecting them felt like trying to map a ghost. Sergeant Brody, watching her from the doorway, finally broke the silence.
You're chasing a phantom, you've got no prints, no face, no ID. The girl had secrets. Maybe she got in over her head. But you're building a conspiracy out of shadows.
She didn't look up.
Shadows cast by something real.
He scoffed.
Just don't go blowing up careers over ghosts.
But Moreno noticed something in his tone. Not just doubt. Fear. The first break came from Nancy's burner phone. Forensics pulled up an encrypted messaging app. One thread had survived deletion. Just a single message sent at 9:02 p.m. on April 1st.
He's following me again. Tall coat guy. I think I know who he is.
That was it. No reply. Whoever she messaged didn't respond. Or didn't dare. The number traced to a prepaid SIM registered in a fake name. Ada King. Dead end. Or so it seemed. But then Moreno cross-referenced public CCTV requests. She found something chilling. 3 weeks before Nancy's death, someone at Fulton and Glass had requested city footage access for a legal matter involving Carter Lake. The signature. Evan Traynor. Brother of senior partner James Traynor. A man with no formal position at the firm. A man previously accused of stalking a legal assistant in Boston in 2019. Charges dropped. Records sealed. Moreno pulled his mugshot from that arrest. Then compared it to the shadow in the tan coat. A height. A build. The walk. It was him. But that's when the pressure started. A memo landed on her desk from Internal Affairs. No signature. Just a departmental seal. Then came the anonymous text on her personal phone.
Let it go, Elise. You don't want to end up like her.
She stared at it for a long moment, then deleted it, and called Nancy's friend Maya.
Did Nancy ever mention someone named Evan?
Maya hesitated.
Not by name. But she said she was being followed. She told me she once saw the guy outside her gym. Just standing there, staring at her car. She started taking alternate routes home, always looking over her shoulder.
Moreno's voice dropped.
She wasn't paranoid. She was hunted.
Began with a message. Encrypted. Anonymous. Sent through a secure tip line Detective Elise Moreno had quietly set up after Nancy's case stalled.
I have documents. I knew Nancy. We were both in over our heads. She trusted the wrong people. Meet me. 6 p.m. Level 4. East Garage. Come alone.
She stared at the message. No name. No number. Just the kind of gut-tightening whisper that feels like a trap. But she had no choice. It was raining. The underground parking garage beneath Whitestone Mall echoed with dripping water and distant car alarms. Fluorescent lights flickered overhead, casting pale, twitching shadows on the concrete. Moreno's footsteps echoed as she descended to level 4, hand near her sidearm. Then she saw him, a man in a faded hoodie, hunched near a rusted pillar, face shadowed, clutching a thick yellow envelope like it was wired to explode.
Marcus Dole?
He called. He flinched, looking around before nodding.
I don't have long. They're watching me. I know they are.
Dole was trembling. Bill. The kind of look you get when you stop sleeping for too many nights. The kind of look that says, I shouldn't be doing this.
I worked for a front. Glasstown Holdings. We were laundering money through dead real estate, condemned units, fake leases, insurance fraud. Fulton and Glass moved the papers. Made it all legal.
He shoved the envelope into her hand. Inside wire transfer records, emails, property acquisition forms. But one document made Moreno's breath stop. A memo from James Traynor himself.
Nancy Lau has accessed protected folders. We need to contain this now. Loop Evan if needed.
Her fingers clenched.
Did Nancy see this?
Yes. Dole nodded.
She confronted Traynor. Said she was going to a reporter. Said if anything happened to her, she'd left a digital trail. But I think she told the wrong person.
He looked over his shoulder.
Now you know. That makes you next.
Moreno dropped the envelope on her captain's desk like it was radioactive.
This is enough for a warrant. A raid. A subpoena at least.
Captain Rollins didn't look up. Just shook his head slowly.
The DA won't touch this.
Are you kidding me? They paid off inspectors, destroyed lives, and now a woman is dead.
He held up a hand.
You don't understand. These people own half the council. You bring them down, the whole house falls. The DA's office isn't going to war with a firm that contributes to every re-election campaign in this city.
She stared at him in disbelief.
So that's it? She gets buried twice, once in the lake and again by politics?
He looked her in the eyes.
Sometimes justice doesn't come with a badge.
Back at her apartment, Moreno opened the envelope again. Laid everything out on her dining table. Emails, like crime scene photos of a dying city. In the middle, Nancy's name. She pulled out her phone. Called every journalist she trusted. All 2 of them. Only one answered. Z. Alvarez, an investigative reporter with the Star City Times, known for burning bridges and exposing skeletons. Moreno gave her everything.
If I disappear, you'll know why.
There was a beat of silence on the line. Z replied.
Then let's make sure they can't bury either of us.
Meanwhile, across the city, at a quiet cafe in South Harbor, Evan Traynor sat in a corner booth, staring at a phone. Private encrypted group chat pinged.
Leaks out. Lau's file is with press. You're exposed. Shut it down.
Evan's fingers tightened around his coffee. Then another message came through.
You should have finished what you started.
7:01 a.m., April 12th. The headline appeared on the Star City Times homepage like a detonated charge. Exclusive. Fulton and Glass tied to money laundering, land fraud. Whistleblower feared murdered. Full expose. Name's name. Memos published. Nancy's internal emails. Her confrontation with James Traynor. Her secret report. The connection to Glasstown Holdings. And the shadowy involvement of Evan Traynor, who was, finally, identified publicly as the man in the tan coat. The article exploded across social media. Trended nationally within 40 minutes. News vans swarmed the Fulton and Glass Tower. By 10 a.m., the building was locked down. Lawyers scrambling. Staff hushed. Moreno watched the news in her car, engine off, radio silent, heart pounding. Nancy had been heard. 2:34 p.m. Detective Moreno and a small task force arrived at Evan Traynor's upscale condo in the Rivergate Towers. They had a warrant now. Signed, sealed, and surprisingly green-lit by the DA once the media firestorm ignited. But Evan was gone. His apartment was immaculate. A still-burning cigarette in the ashtray. TV still on, news coverage of his own face. In the bathroom, hair dye, a shredded ID, and a burner phone still warm. On the mirror, written in soap.
You should have stayed quiet.
Moreno whispered.
Coward.
Later that night, she met James Traynor at a private charity gala. He hadn't cancelled, daring the world to touch him. He smiled when he saw her.
Detective Moreno, here to gloat.
I'm here to remind you that even the richest men bleed when the story breaks, and yours just did.
He sipped champagne with a calmness that rattled her.
You have no body cam, no confession, just theories and journalists. And journalists get bored.
He smiled again, but this time colder.
You left a trail. Evan left a body.
He smiled again, but this time colder.
Evan was a mistake. Nancy was a nuisance. You're an idealist.
Then he leaned in, whispering.
An idealist tend to die alone.
She didn't flinch.
We'll see.
April 18th. Fulton and Glass suspended operations. A James Traynor was placed on leave. Multiple shell companies were frozen. An unnamed insider was found dead in an apparent overdose. Evan Traynor, still missing. Moreno sat before an inquiry board. Cleaned up, tired and sharp.
You went outside department protocols.
One council member said.
You gave evidence to the press.
I gave evidence to the people because Nancy Lau was murdered. And you all wanted to forget her.
The room went still.
She didn't disappear quietly. And I won't either.
Carter Lake, April 21st. It was quiet again. Sunlight filtering through willows, water lapping the shore. The same place Nancy was found. Moreno stood there, a white rose in hand, her badge heavy on her hip. She dropped the flower into the water.
I got them talking, Nancy. They can't silence you now.
Behind her, a young woman approached, hesitant. It was Maya.
Are you safe now?
She asked. Moreno didn't answer right away. Instead, she looked toward the horizon, where storm clouds were gathering again. And she said,
For now.